Hello, hope everyone is doing well. 6:30 in the evening. I just posted the daily levels a few minutes ago. But this video is not about the daily levels. It's actually about something brand new we are working on. So let me give you the background. Since I started this service back in November of 2022, I was asked to teach how I come up with these levels. And the answer was always no. The main reason I could not teach how to come up with these levels is because there are a lot of moving parts here. There was a lot of complexity, um, lots of variables. And even though teaching it might only take 2 or 3 hours, knowing how to apply this information to real time trading would take weeks, if not months, of support. And I just do not have this kind of time at this point. Maybe in the future, but not right now. But I continue to have requests. Pretty much at least a couple of times a week, I get emails from members asking to teach these levels. So over the past few months, I've been working on levels specifically for US session. So not for Globex and US session for tomorrow that these levels are, but only for, let's say, 1 hour before US session starts forward. So I've been making progress, especially since November of last year. Still thought it would take me until March or maybe April to really have the full thing together, but I received a lot of help this past weekend, and now we have something. So I did quick back testing, but I don't like back testing. I prefer real time forward testing. So I asked for some help from members in our community, traders who understand the levels methodology, and they decided to help me with beta testing this new approach. So this new approach is an approach I will be able to teach. Traders will be able on their own to find the levels I'm going to show you in a minute. It's going to be the same approach with a buy level, a sell level, and the midpoint, but specifically for, let's say, 8:30 on Eastern Time. So about 1 hour before US session starts and moving forward until 4 p.m. I spoke with Ryan. He already told me he'll be able to create an indicator, a levels indicator, just like this one. So right now we're doing it manually for beta testing, but assuming everything is going to be okay, and I think it should be, then there's going to be an indicator that you will not even, I mean, I'll teach you the methodology, of course, but you would not even need to input any prices. The indicator, Ryan tells me, will be able to do it for you. So you can put it on as many markets as you want, because the approach, of course, is the same across all markets. Although I probably would not use the euro during US session. Most of the action for the euro is earlier. But the other six, you'll be able to put the indicator on those charts, and it would find the levels for you along with the midpoint. It's going to be the same exact approach, only for US session. So a little after 8 a.m. this morning, I sent out to all the people who volunteered to be part of the testing group the levels for the Nasdaq. Of course, it will work across all markets. We're just testing it on the Nasdaq. So the buy level was 21,195. Sell level was at 20,815. The midpoint was at 21,005. So I sent it somewhere here. Of course, there was the news at 8:30, and then we just had to wait. US session opened, and the market came to the midpoint to test it, as happens same way it happens during the regular daily levels, that price needs to come and test this midpoint in most cases, of course. Now here's what's interesting. I use the 5-minute chart, and I asked people in the group with the beta testing to try a 2-minute chart, and if someone can try a Renko chart. It's interesting because the 5-minute chart I used did the worst. I finished positive 425, but still it did much worse than a 2-minute chart and the Renko chart. But the way you would, one of the ways to trade this, let's say, is to wait for a bar. Let's make this bigger. To test the midpoint. Let's say if it tests it from above, you want to see a test, and then for a bar to close up above it, not right on it. Same exact rules as the regular daily levels rules. You don't want to take a trade on top of the midpoint. You want to be somewhat away. This bar touched the midpoint, bounced up, but did not close far enough for a long, so you would have to wait. The next bar closed below, and this is actually a short right over here. Now it doesn't look like anything, but actually this next bar opened at 80.75 and the low was 68. So there was about 12 points here. I took this trade in sim, of course, we're still testing it. I was up 12 points, but then it took me out at break even. So next, you see now bar closes above the midpoint. Here was this important midpoint, right? Bar closes above it, and this is a long. And on this one, I did well. This one I did well. Here is the bar closing below, right? And here I got taken out at break even though there was quite a bit here, from around 90 down to like 50. There was 40 points here, and I was really expecting a move, of course, as with the daily levels, toward the sell level here. It did not happen, and so even though I was up like 40 points, I think I had a small profit there, but I got taken out. Here there was another move down, and this time price indeed reached 815. Now, those of you who are familiar with the midpoint methodology, you guys know that this is a completion, right from being below the midpoint. This is a completion, and completions have reactions. And it was interesting for me to see if these levels that missing a lot of the components that I use for daily levels, the regular daily levels, it was interesting for me to see if missing these components, the market would still behave in a predictable manner. And sure enough, when price arrives at this 815 sell level, there is a bounce. Might not look like much, but this bounce was about a 70, like a 60-point bounce. This is a 60-point bounce. What does price do? Comes down again, right? Comes down again to 815, spikes a little below it, and now we have a big bounce toward where, and again, if you're familiar with the daily levels methodology, I have plenty of videos on that methodology. You expect price to keep moving toward the midpoint if this indeed holds, that sell level holds. It's exactly what happens. The midpoint, of course, now becomes a question. Can price break through? If it can, it might try and go to the buy level. If it can't, and there is enough time, because this is already kind of late, price will at least attempt to come to the sell level. So for quite a while, price was consolidating around this midpoint you see here, right? So I was very impressed because, again, I had some doubts if, which is why I'm testing this, if taking out all those components from daily levels, simplifying this approach here, the levels for the US session, it is a simplified version of the daily level. So obviously simplified means that I took some stuff out, but the behavior, at least today, and yesterday also, I tested it yesterday, um, is very similar. So you see this consolidation around the midpoint. If you take a close look, let me make this bigger, they try to break through, but you see how no bar closes above the midpoint. This one closes pretty much on it. No bar closes above the midpoint. They try, they can't, try again, they can't, and finally a big sell-off, and you guessed it, this big sell-off goes to the sell level. So um, it was very interesting today to see that same reactions and same behavior that we see with the regular daily levels over here, we see here, even though this has many more parts and a lot more complexity to it. To me, it was really interesting. And now I'm also trying to figure out, kind of different ways of explaining how to possibly trade this. So I'm going to share this with you now. And I'm going to obviously go into more detail with the people who decide to learn this. I'm going to go more detail. But basically, even though you expect a bounce, right? So you know that when you arrive at a level, whether it would be a buy level or a sell level, you expect some move the other way. Most of the time. Most of the time that's what happens. But you don't just want to necessarily try and catch a falling knife, right? Because you don't know what's going to, in real time, you don't know if price is going to stop here, because it doesn't have to stop. This is just a target, right? This is a target from the midpoint. But you see how the bar tests the level and closes up? You see that? That's a long. It's an aggressive long, and I'm going to make it clear. It's an aggressive long because we are definitely in a downtrend. It's just that we have arrived at an important destination, and completions have reactions. Same exact idea as with the regular daily levels. Here it is, up we go. Again, might not look like much, but it's from around 29 all the way to 75. So even though it might look like much, it's quite a bit. We see the same thing here. So you see how this bar digs into the level here, but it does not close above it. There is no long. Again, you don't know that there is going to be a bounce. You might expect it, but you don't know what's going to happen. Here, there is a deeper dig into this level, but the bar is closing up. The bar closes above the level. This again is an aggressive long. It's an aggressive long because we are in a downtrend. Well, this long moves all the way, if I can get this, to this midpoint. This is the destination. Same as with the daily levels, right? Well, I just posted those on, so there's not much happening yet, but it's the same idea as with the daily levels. Now, take a look at this here. Here is price digs into the midpoint and closes below. Technically, this is now a short. It could be a short, and again, doesn't look like much, but it's from around like 95 down. That's about 10-11 points here. Price comes back again, but every time it touches this midpoint, it cannot close above it. It cannot close above it. So if that happens, they were here for quite a while. Eventually, they just collapse down. So once the beta testing is over, I will definitely continue to test it for the rest of this week, possibly next week. You can follow along. By the way, we post in the trade indication, in the trade journal channel. It is available to the public. so you can come here and see in real time as things are happening, responses from me, from the traders who participate in this beta testing, some of the trades they take based on these ideas. So you can just kind of come join the server and you can just follow along. It is available for the public, as I said. Now, today was definitely a very special day. It was absolutely perfect the way price respected these levels. Overall, I still do not expect this modified, simplified version to be as accurate as the regular daily levels. However, it doesn't have to be as accurate to be successful. The question is, does it still have enough of an edge? In today's trading, we definitely saw that there is enough of an edge, for sure. So we're going to continue to test it, and I'm going to also continue to back test it. As I said, however, I prefer forward testing than back testing. I also, the reason I asked 5 people to help me is just for me to stay objective. Because obviously, I created this, so maybe subconsciously I have some kind of a bias, and this way I have people who work with me, and they gonna keep me straight. So, assuming everything goes as expected, I will probably begin to teach end of January. That's my guess. Probably the last week in January. There is no set price yet, but I can tell you that it's going to be a sliding scale. I'm definitely. Some people here were with us since I started back in November of 22, so they obviously will get a very big discount if they choose to learn this. There are people who help me out in the server, in Discord, people who comment on my videos. So all this is going to be taken into consideration, and I will do my best to offer as big a discount as I can. So it's going to be per case basis. So you would basically email me, you'll give me your Discord name, I'll look you up if I don't know you. If you've been around, I do know you, I'm sure. And so I'll decide the price really per case basis because I believe it's only fair. People who were with me for a while, I mean I appreciate each and every one of you. So we're gonna make this work. I think this is it. Email me with any questions. Follow the Trade Journal channel if you want to see how this testing is going. And I will even try to make, if I can, a live trading video trading these levels just like I did for the regular daily levels. Thank you all. See you next time.